Whiskey 4 Romeo, India Papa.
India Papa Station, go ahead.
Yes, I just got this new Icon 7610 set up. I've been working on my antenna. Just the whole station, it's brand new, and I don't know much about the Icon radios, but I know that the audio probably needs adjusting on it or something. I know because feel that anyway. W4RIP, Brian in High Point, North Carolina.
Roger, sir. Well, what we need to do is get you fattened up a little bit there. I would suggest that you go to your compressor and put it on about a 3 to begin with. Put that your compressor on about a 3. If you know where that is, Roger.
Yeah, I just turned. It was on 2. I put it on a 3.
Alrighty, then I would take your mic gain and I would bring it up. What's it on now?
It's on 73.
Alrighty, I would take it up to about 70, 78 or so, and come back and talk for a minute.
Okay, yeah, I've just changed it to 78. I was looking at the ALC, and I'm bumping up towards 3/4 on the high peaks on the ALC.
Roger. Now, all that stuff depends on the microphone. What microphone are you running on that radio?
I'm running a Heil 781.
Alrighty, and that's a dynamic microphone.
Yes, I don't really know for sure. I think it is, but yeah, it's a Heil 781, and supposedly Bob Heil designed it for the Icon series radios,
Roger that. Well, I would put a little more top-end EQ on that. I would put about 2 or 3 clicks of top-end EQ on that microphone, just to bring the top end up a little bit, Roger.
Okay, put 2 more clicks on it. Does that help any?
Yes, sir. It's coming a little bit more alive on the top end. Now, I would suggest going to Quick and going into your drive, and let me tell me what your drive is sitting at.
Can you tell me how where that's at?
Yes, sir. There's a button on the front of your radio. It's called Quick. And you push that, and that'll take you right to the a few things, but mainly it'll take you to drive.
Okay, drive is at 50% on it.
Roger. Okay, take that up to about 65.
Okay, that's 65 right there.
Oh, all right. And then tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, right now I'm on a Buckmaster dipole, the 160 meter, I think it's an 8-band antenna, 3,000 watt balun on it.
Roger. I think we're pretty close there, sir. You're running looks to be about a 2.5 dB dynamic range. So your average peak modulation is average percentage of modulation is somewhere around 79, 80 something percent, which is a pretty fat signal. Talk to me just a little bit more. Let me look at it.
Okay, do you want to, should I keep this compression on? And it's on set on wide too. Yeah, I didn't know whether I need to keep that compression on. But on the compression, it's just barely bumping up just a little bit, maybe 3 on the high notes, on the hard hits, maybe 3 bars on the compression. And the LFC sometimes is bumping into the red now. You know, I don't know whether that is any good on the high note. On the high notes, it's hitting into the red, maybe 2 bars. You know.
Roger, Roger. Well, it sounds really good. I usually don't suggest running, you know, that far, but if you, you know, that's a double-edged sword there, because if you pull your mic level down, then you're going to render your compression apparatus almost negligible. And you know, the whole thing about fattening up audio signal is 2 things: the compressor running lightly and the ALC running mid-scale, because ALC is looking at the output of your limiter. And the 7610 has got just a beautiful limiter that usually does not allow much blow-by there, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, you know, it's just on the very hard look. My voice is one of those voices that I'm very loud. You know, people say that I hurt their ears sometimes when I talk. You know, so, you know, my wife says, "Be quiet, be quiet." You know, talk lower. But you know, that's not my natural voice. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Roger. Well, you know, to me, I think you sound great. I mean, you're exhibiting about a 2.5 dB dynamic range, so a nice fat signal there, and you know, you could back that mic gain down, but I wouldn't, as clean as that is.
Okay. What is your name and your call sign again? I'll tell you, I really appreciate you helping me because, you know, I'm new at this, and I'm not used to this radio at all. You know, I usually talk on a FT991 like the gentleman you just talked to. I talk on, that's the other rig I have, and it's nowhere close to this. You know, it's not even in the same league. With you know, audio adjustments and stuff like that, as far as you know, being able to get your mic and everything adjusted correctly, you know, but it's a lot more difficult on the FT991. But I needed somebody that was familiar with this radio to go ahead and help me set it up. But I appreciate you coming back to me and helping me the way you have. It's really been a blessing.
Roger, well, it sounds really good. The name here is Jim Juliet India Mike, and the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we're located just beside Louisville, Kentucky, just across the Ohio River from Louisville. Downtown Louisville is about 3 miles away. Roger.
Yes, Roger, and I wanted to compliment you on your station. You've been 20 over about the whole time I've been listening to you, and I've seen you at 30 over. And I tell you, it's a very impressive signal here. I haven't seen one station as strong as you since I've had the rig set up, and you sound really well too. I'm telling you, it's just awesome. Just sit here and listen to you, you know.
Well, thank you very much, sir. My Elmer and I have a mantra for this operation, and we call it 20 over from Montreal to Miami and from New York to New Mexico. And I have verified some of that to be true. It is, number one, our position in the country. We are kind of in the middle of it. And so, you know, we can work Montreal just as well as we can Miami, whereas other folks that might be one way or the other geographically could work, you know, part of that, but not be able to work the other part of it. So we are blessed by our location and the fact that we're running an inverted V, which gives us a very omnidirectional signal. Roger?
Yes, Roger. What type of inverted V did you say?
Roger, yeah, just an inverted V, about 35 feet, Roger.
Wow, I would have thought you'd had much more than that. Are you running any amplifiers or anything?
Oh yeah, this is normal, and then I'll drop down to 100 watts. This is 100 watts, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 watts, and then back up to about a kW.
Oh yes. Wow, I can only dream of getting one of those one day. It might definitely help me. I'm bumping. I'm showing bumping maybe 95 watts, something like that, you know. And but on the hard peaks, I might bump up to 100. But I'd like to have. I'd just like to have about 600 watts just to help me get through the pileup, you know.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, well, you know, if you're going to talk every day on 40 particularly, you're going to need to pull something out of the closet, because the day of the 100-watt station coming in at 10 over 400 miles away is going to be gone for probably quite a few years as this cycle works through itself. We're doing this Qso-Vlog program at 10:30 in the morning, and we were getting a lot of stuff coming in at about a dB or 2 dB above my noise level, which you know, that was 100 watts at 300 or 400 miles away. So we did decide to move this to the afternoon to give our 100-watt friends a little bit better shot at getting their audio heard well enough that they could tell what they needed to do. And I think the afternoon situation paid off, because I am now, you know, copying the mail on 100 watters 300 or 400 miles away at about maybe 8 dB above noise level. Roger?
Yeah, Roger on that. You know, that's nice that y'all do this, you know, and everything, and do help a fellow ham operator, new guys anyway, like me. It's really a very much a big help, you know, to me for you to do this. And how long have you been a ham radio operator?
Probably about 6 years. We spent our first 2 years on 10 meters. That was during a time that 10 meters was particularly active. So just about every day we talked to California with 20 overs. I still have a full wave loop antenna, 36-foot loop antenna. It's a RG6 strung around a PVC frame, and it's vertical with a rotor underneath it, and you can orient the loop for max smoke depending on where it's coming from. But mainly we just kept it headed west, man, and that stuff was coming in from San Diego. I had one guy out there in San Diego that I talked to him just about every day at 20 overs, because we both monitored the same frequency, 28,400. And like I say, that was then, you know, those conditions somewhat are cyclical, and right now here on 40, you know, we're at a fairly low ebb as far as propagation. Roger?
Yes, Roger, on that. It's definitely kind of difficult.
Stand by, please.
If you can, you know, stay up later at night or something, you know, I noticed that it seems to help to be able to talk of some DX. You know, my first contact was with this rig here was in Barcelona, Spain, and then spoke to Kuwait and Czechoslovakia, and listened the last couple of days, you know, and I know that's probably not that great, but, you know, it was impressive to me to just get started in my first contacts, you know.
Oh, Roger, what a contact to start off with. You know, how do you top the next one? You know, I'm going to jump out of here, but if you could give me your name and call sign again, please, slowly, phonetically.
U.S. Radio.
Roger on.
Stand by.
My name is Brian. It's B-R-Y-A-N, Brian. And my call sign is W4 Romeo India Papa, Whiskey 4 Romeo India Papa. Rest in peace.
Roger, roger, brother. That audio's sounding beautiful. I wouldn't change a thing. I would get the duct tape out and the super glue and tie all those things down, because it's just beautiful, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. You know, I was even thinking about going to I don't know, I was thinking about trying another mic, but I really hadn't had this one long enough to even break it in good, you know. But do you think this mic will be all right for this rig here?
It's all right for now, but if you ever get a chance to get a condenser desk mic, I sure would do that, because it'll make all the difference in the world. You'll be just so much brighter in the top end, Roger.
Yeah, that's what I heard a guy on there, he had a 7300 and ICOM, and he had, I can't remember the name. It was the number on it was a 626, though. I can't remember the brand name. It was a 626, but it wasn't a real expensive mic. I think it was around $85 or something like that. But it was a condenser mic, and the ranges on it, the top end was a lot higher than this one is, you know. And I was thinking about going ahead and ordering one of those and just trying it out, see what it's like, you know.
Roger, Roger. Well, you have a pretty good reference to your radio running that microphone now. We have been recording, and if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will bring up our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for a segment called My Group Aircheck 2119. Again, My Group Aircheck 2119. That'll be the full hour and a half air check from 3:30 till 5. Roger?
Yeah, Roger, on that. I definitely, so it's being recorded right now, our conversation.
Right, Roger. That's what we do. This is a Qso-Vlog show, and we record live from 3:30 till 5 Eastern. Roger?
Yes, Roger, on that. Well, I'm going to get out of here and let somebody else get in here. I don't want to hog the time that you have to spend with somebody else to help them. But like I say, I appreciate the help, and I appreciate the adjustments you give me. And it does seem, by the meters and everything, it just seems more alive. And to me it does. And I'm glad you helped me with it. But Jim, I appreciate it. And I'll be talking to you again, I hope. And I hope you have a good afternoon, and God bless you. And Whiskey 4 Romeo India Papa, Brian in High Point, North Carolina. We're going to be clear and listening on the side.
Roger, Roger, Brian. 3's that way, sir. And if you get a chance, check back in next Friday. If we have other radio or other, I forget exactly what it was, but I think you were going to change something, and give us a shout, and we'll do recording again, and you can be able to compare the two. That's the neat thing about an hour and a half show. We run across a lot of folks and a lot of different audios, and when you listen back, you get a chance to hear everybody's audio, EQ, and all that stuff, and say, hey, I like that one, or I like mine, or I would like mine to sound like his. It's just a very interesting, I think, show. So 3's for now, Brian, and we'll catch you later, maybe next Friday.